Welcome to Be the Light 365. I'm Pastor Jay. We want to just bless y'all this week. We hope everybody is having a great weekend and hope a great week coming up. You know, God is with you. He loves you and He's there for you. You know, today we're going to be talking about this world, the state of this world. I've talked about it previously, how so many things are going on. There's a lot of fear in this world. But God says don't worry about fear. Don't worry about tomorrow. You know, He's got it. The first verse I'm going to give y'all today is Isaiah 41:10. Excuse me. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. That's what I always loved about Jesus, is He was always called the right hand of God. The right hand of righteousness. We, like I said, due to COVID and everything, we had a problem of fear. Every news channel, every media outlet was just fear after fear after fear of death and all this other stuff. And it was serious, don't get me wrong. But it was the way they did the fear. That people were scared to come out of their homes. Even some people now are still scared to get out. After 4 years, or 5 years almost now. That's the power of fear. That's why God says you cannot fear it, because you do, it will shut you down. You know, the devil's always showing us stuff of what's going bad on this world. And there's a lot of bad things going on in this world. But he's only showing you the bad things. He's not showing you all the people that are getting saved. Countries that are coming to God. See, that's what we're missing here. Is we're so focused on the fear of this world and what's going on that we're not looking at the blessings and all the things that God is doing. Just in churches alone and country, like I said, countries. There's whole countries that were all just one religion. Now it's split in two. You know, people are coming to Christ on a daily basis. Excuse me. In 2 Timothy 1:7 says, For God, excuse me, for God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. See, if we're so focused on the fear, we're losing track of what God has for us, the purpose we have. Every day we should be getting up, keeping our eye on God, and start walking that way. Not living in the fear, and sometimes we do. It's like it's like politics. Politics can get you into it so much that you don't even notice God's even around. You know, that's one of the biggest things here lately in the United States has been the political and everything going on. But we also got to step back and say, okay, God's got whatever's going on. No matter how bad it is, and there's some bad things going on, and I'm not going to say it's pointing to one side or this side. I'm saying it's just people. It's not about political parties, what I always know. It's about the people in them. But everybody wants to blame something. Just like Christians. Christians get blamed all the time for doing things that some of these people weren't even Christian. Just because they went to one church one time, they're getting that, oh, they're Christians now. Going to church don't make you a Christian. Saying you are one doesn't make you a Christian. It's about your heart and your belief in God. So when you let these fears come over you and you're not focused on God, then you're like Jesus said about the sword, the parable of the sword. He said the cares of the world will strangle out the word of God. That's why we have to keep our eye focused on God. In 1 John 4:18 says, there is no fear in love, because God is love. But perfect love casts out fear, because fear has torment. See, that's the word I wanted to focus on this one, is that torment. Because fear will torment you to the point that you will do something crazy. You'll do something foolish. You know, He that feareth is not made perfect in love. In other words, we cannot worry about what's going on. We can't keep focusing on what this world's doing. We have to focus on what God and the purpose God has for us. I've had comments and saying, some people needed this because, there are people. There was 12,000 people baptized just not too long ago in one weekend. There are people coming to God daily. Actors that I thought would never even have nothing to do with God, they're staying up and praising God and coming to Him with a vigor. In the Beatitudes it says, "Blessed are the righteous, blessed are the hungry and the thirsty who come, for they shall be filled." That's what we need to be doing. We need to be getting into the Word where we're filled up every day and not filled up with the fear of this world. Like I said, fear will destroy you. Fear will make you do something. I remember things when like in business transactions and stuff like that. I would get worried about something, about paying this bill, and I would do something foolish when I shouldn't have done something foolish. I just need to step back, ask God what I need to do, and go from there. Instead I didn't. What I did is let the fear take over and the anxiety of this world, and it got me off track of my purpose. That's why we got to get focused back on God. In the shepherd's prayer, that's in Psalm 23. It talks of walking through the valley of the shadow of death. I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod, thy staff, they comfort me. This is that thing. We need to be letting God prop us up, letting God carry us. Not worrying, not having fear in our life, not having anxiety in our life, depression. See, depression is a form of fear. It's a spirit, along with fear. Fear is a spirit. All these are spirits that like to attack a person daily. They attack you because they want to get you off your purpose for God. And that's where we got to get back to the purpose of God. What God tells us to do, we strive for it. What God tells us that we need to do that day, don't let fear, anxiety, it's like a pastor one time told me. He said that he woke up and God was telling him to go downtown to this one place. And he said, "Lord, I have no money in my money at all. I'm broke." He said he pulled out his pockets and showed the Lord. And he pushed them back in. And he said he went on that day, and all through the day, the Lord kept coming to him and said, "I need you to go down here to this corner." And he's like, "Lord, I have no money for gas for my car. The car is on empty. You know that. Last night I came in from a deal, so I had no money." And the Lord kept saying, "Go down here to this corner." He finally said, "Lord, I'm tired of this." He reached his hand in his pockets again, and he pulled out his pockets, and some money fell out. See, that's one thing about God. If He gives you a purpose, He gives you a way. He gives you the means to go where He needs you to go. He gives you the purpose or the means to do what He needs you to do. Sometimes we get anxiety that we want to go ahead and do it. And that's when we kind of let this fear and this anxiety and all this stuff go to the point that God says, "Okay, well, I'm going to slow you down a little bit." Because everything is always on God's time. Sometimes that's hard for a person. For me, it is hard. I want to do it yesterday. God says, "Okay, well, I need to do it tomorrow." What I'm trying to say is, don't let fear dictate what God has for you. In Proverbs says, "The fear of man bringeth a snare." It's Proverbs 29:25. It says, "The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe." See, fear can get you into something that you don't want to be. Like I said, I've been there. Made mistakes. Why? Because I was so afraid of something happening on this day, this time, that I kept making mistakes. I made these mistakes to the point it put me in a lot of trouble. Financially, everything, you know. That's why we have to step back. And God had to show me that quit let this fear dictate what you're going to do. Stay focused. Keep your eye on Christ. Keep your eye on God, the throne of heaven. Know that God is your support. He takes away the fear. If you trust Him, He's there for you. You know, when you start not trusting Him because you're letting fear decide your fate. And Philippians 4:6 says, "Be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplications with thanksgiving let your requests be made to God." In other words, when you're praying, you thank God for going ahead and answering it. You say, well, that's kind of presumptuous. No, it's not presumptuous. God said that's how you have to come to Him. You pray for it, say, God, thank you for doing it. It's yours. And supplication means to give all to it. Not just say it and go, say, Lord, it's yours. 100%. Quit being that person like I was and going back and said, Lord, well, I gave you this to you, but I'm going to take a little bit back because I want to worry about it. Quit going back to God and taking stuff out of His hands that you've already set into it. Let God have it. Let God handle it. Let God be the one that leads you. He said He orders our footsteps. If He orders our footsteps, let Him. In other words, He's going before us to make sure that we're safe. He's going before us to know that we are doing good. For Him, it's about Him. Quit putting us in the mix. That's one thing I say, is I kept worrying about me and not about God. Let God take care of you. He said He'll take care of you if you just take care of what He's got for you, your purpose. He'll take care of everything. He'll make sure everything goes right. He'll make sure everything goes. The problem we have is when we start deciding that, okay, God, I don't trust you enough to do what I want you to do. God is a father just like any real father should be. He doesn't want to give you, like He said, He don't give you a scorpion for a piece of bread or a snake for a stone. He doesn't want to give you none of this stuff. What He wants to give you is what you need. Sometimes He only gives us what you can handle. At the moment, He's building you up to be you, what you should truly be. Adam should have been truly what Adam should have been, but he made mistakes. And through his mistakes, he had to pay for them, just like everybody does. When I make a mistake, I have to pay for them, because what I do is I take it out of God's hand and try to carry it myself, and it's so heavy sometimes that it doesn't happen. So let's just give it to God. Let's give anything that we have in our life that we're fearing or that we're afraid of, you know, as Psalms 56, 3-4 says, with time I'm afraid, I will trust thee. Trust in God to do is what God's word says. He loves you. He is your Father. He doesn't want anything bad to happen to you. God never sets out saying, okay, I want this dude to suffer right here. I want that guy to suffer. I want this and this and this. He doesn't want that for any of His children. He wants us to prosper. He wants us to be good children and good servants. So give it to God. Let Him handle it. And I'm telling you, there are blessings. It's a blessing to know that there's no fear on you. So just let it go. Y'all have a blessed week. If y'all need prayers, let us know. Comment in the thing. Say, I need to pray for this person, that person, or just for yourself or finances, anything. We're here to pray for you. We're here to be servants first for God. If you'd like to give to our ministry, it's at tithely.com at Be the Light 365 Church. And we know it's sometimes hard. We're all in hard times right now. But like God said, just put your trust in Him and He'll make it better. Y'all have a blessed week. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for being with us in this ministry. Have a blessed week. We love you.